Hello guys, welcome along. Welcome back to the channel. This is part 8 now of the Takom Mark IV World War I tank build in German captured livery. Enjoying the build. It's coming together quite well. These are all dried now, and obviously you know the centre section's all done. I think I'm going to take a little distraction from the instructions now, or a little alteration, because what they tell you to do now is build the outer gun units and put them on and then assemble it all together. The trouble is then you won't be able to get to anything, so my vision is to be able to put these on now, and then I can get to inside here to glue them, and then when I do the other side I can get in through here, whereas with the way they tell you to do it you can't get in there, so you end up putting glue around here and then it will ooze on and everything. So I'm going to assemble this and then assemble the guns onto this, I think, but I'll build the guns first. The next thing it tells you to do in the instructions is actually start working on the tracks, but I'm not going to do that, I don't think. I'm going to do these guns first and then do the tracks last, because basically once the guns are done, that's it, the model's finished, other than the tracks and of course the painting and everything. I'm trying a new camera height because I know that there's been some comments about camera height, and it would appear that people want it higher so they can see more of what I'm doing. The other thing I'm doing, thanks for telling me, I can't remember your name now who told me, but it was a very good tip on the fact that my hands are in the way, and it's something that I know a lot of people struggle with when they're making videos, and it's not easy, I can assure you, but I will try my best and improve things. But the guy that commented did actually say that with the camera further away, it may help with having my hands in the way. So, so yeah, that's a good thing. So yeah, thanks very much for those tips. Oh, what's this coming? Oh my God, what's this? Oh, we're being invaded by the British, are we? It looks that way. Oh my God! And off he goes into the sunset. Oh, he's just going to leave us alone. Okay. Oh, they're coming back. They're coming back to get us. I'm not sure if we're going to I think they might break us up. Well, we almost did make it over then. As I say, he's going to go and leave us behind again. That's better. So as I said, we've done all this. We've assembled all this now, put all this together, and now it's telling us to go on and make the tracks. I'm not going to do that right away, and then we have these I guess these are wading extensions to make it better in the wet stuff. We've also got these rails for the trenching beam, which I'm not going to put on yet. I'm going to put them on once I've assembled the outers to the main hull, if I can. What I'm going to concentrate now is this main gun assembly. Or a machine gun assembly, should I say, and we've basically got to make, it's telling you to make 4 of these. I guess you've got to make 4 of all of this, I'm assuming, but we'll have a look at that in a minute. And then we assemble that into the left side, and then into the right side, and then as you can see we glue it all together. So obviously I could do it that way. What they're actually saying is, yeah, so I'm not deviating from the instructions at all. I'm just going to glue these on and then glue them on after. And you can see down here we've got to remove some of the raised detail in order to add the female gun sections. Obviously this side panel serves as for the males, for the male tank as well. So I'll get the parts off the sprue for this bit here, and then we'll go from there. Just before I start, I did forget to say at the beginning, if you could please remember to like, and if you're first time here, subscribe. If you don't like what you see, then hit the dislike button twice. And yeah, if you don't like it that much, hit it twice. See what happens. This is part of a 1 month build I'm doing. I picked this kit up on the 11th of October 2018. It's now the 15th of October 2018, so as you can see I'm telling we're working all over the weekend. Got this far with it, and just about to really sort of finish off the main building tonight, and then probably make a start later on the tracks. The plan is to have it all built, painted, weathered, decorated, everything by November the 11th, in memory of all those poor souls who lost their lives in that god-awful war back in 1914, 1918. This is going so well that it may well get finished this weekend. So if that's the case, I may go and get another one and build that. Perhaps I'll get an English tank or maybe a French tank, just to even it up, because this is a captured German tank. So yeah, sort of even it up and get some British or French flavour in there as well. So yeah, with no further ado, I'm going to get these parts off the sprue and get stuck into this. So I need a H12, H16, H6. So these are all the 12s down here, so there's 4 12s. So if we get these 4 off. You also might notice I'm using this right hand light again as well. So yeah, let me know what you think. So what's the difference in the 12s and the 11s? Okay, it's this this tab on the side here is different. So the 12s have got it on the left, and the 11s have got it on the right by the look of it. So there's a lot of detail in here which I don't actually need to put in because they include it. I don't really know why. Because maybe they made, I don't know, maybe they made a model tank with all the interior detail. But yeah, you certainly don't need to be adding all this. Well, I guess you do, because you need the gun barrel to stick out, so that's why, obviously. So there's the 11s, and there's the 12s. So let's keep all them together. And then we've got 16, 6. So we've got, what have we got? Whoops. We've got 4 6s. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go and get all this off the sprues, get it cleaned up, and then I'll come back when we get to gluing. Right, I've got a lot of the parts off the sprue now. I've got all my H12s are over here. Then we've got the H11s up here. The 6 and the 16s brackets here. We've got the 14 and 26 brackets here. Then we've got H1s, these parts here that make up the gun swivel. They're there and here. There's these parts which go in the side, 22s, they're all there. And then when this is all together, it gets glued into this front piece here, which is all cut out there. And then what I've got to do is then add these bases which go into these brackets. So it's all a pretty sort of complex, fragile little assembly. It needn't have been, because none of it is going to be seen. So yeah, they could have just sort of made up a plastic block with a vinyl ring, and I can't think what they're called now, a polycap, and pushed the gun through that. It would have been a lot easier, but never mind. The other thing is they got these H21 and H27. The gun kind of clips into H21, and H27 is like the top clamp that goes over the top. And unfortunately, when I cut them off, one of them flew off into the I don't know where, it went over the bench somewhere, and I can't find it anywhere. I've had a bloody good look. So yeah, what I've got here is these 2 guns, and you can see this one's actually got the top clamp on it, and this one hasn't. You can see they just sort of clip on and clip off. So what I'll have to do is, when that's positioned, I'll just have to glue it in place. I'll probably glue all of them in place actually, because they probably will come out quite easily actually. They'll probably just fall out if they're knocked. But then that might not be a bad thing, it'll save them snapping off, I suppose. So yeah, I haven't bothered putting the ammunition on the top of the guns because, as I say, it's not going to get seen. So there's no real point in doing that. So I've done the four machine guns. There we go, they're in their mountings. So now I'm going to get on and put these parts on here, and then that'll be that for then. I'll come back to you then. See you in a minute. Just an observation, guys, and so you don't get caught out the same way as I did with this kit. If you look up here, you've got these two H1 parts that go to onto the side of the gun mounts, and if you notice, there's a tab on the front. I didn't see that when I was cutting the parts off, so you can see I've actually cut it off. But I've just looked on the sprue, and this is you can see this is where part number 1 was, and you can see that the actual tab just looks like part of the sprue rudder. So be a little bit careful when you take it off, because it's not really very user friendly. So it doesn't really make a lot of difference. It's not so difficult to get out, but yeah, just it's an aid to assembly. So just a little tip for you there again. Right, here's this is a H12. So H12 has these 2 brackets on it. So let's grab one of these brackets, stick that on there, and then one of the other ones, stick that on there. Oops. Stick that on there. Like so. Get them squared up. Just this is a whole load of work and clean up for something that's never going to get seen, and is basically going to be very, very flimsy when it's finished. It's all seems like a bit of a waste to me, really, but you know, never mind. I guess they're not going to make special parts just for a kit, just because it doesn't have a full interior. So let's just do one more of those. Tiny bit of glue on there just to hold it. Put that one on there. And then that one. Oops. That one can sit on there. Another dab of the glue, because remember, these are the brackets that the whole lot is going to mount on, so they need to be pretty firm, really. And there's those 4. So I'll get the other 4 done and see you back here. Alright guys, I've got some bad news, I'm afraid. The gun, basically, we've done this bit here, glued the these parts together to make the swivel, as you can see there. Yeah, and you can see where I actually I get to focus. You can see where I removed those tabs, and then that then goes into these pieces here, A and B. It tells you here not to glue them to the sides, but then it looks like you glue this in. So what I've done is glued them onto the side of the gun before I fit them. Otherwise it's pretty much impossible, because you've got to hold all that together while you put this front piece on. The other thing is this pin here, H34, they say to put that through there and then glue that piece up underneath. You don't need to put that pin in, you can put that pin in afterwards. In fact, as soon as you turn it over, it just falls out anyway. It's actually quite disappointing. This is all so flimsy and finicky, quite needlessly really. It's all to scale, which is, I'm sure it's to scale, I have no references, but it seems as though it's all to scale. But this actual gun mount is just going to be, it's going to have loads of play in it, I think. It's not going to be very firm at all. So it'll probably be a case of just gluing them in solid to get to get them to look like, you don't want them just sat there hanging out the side of the tank. So I've done one, and here it is. It's quite flimsy, and very finicky, and getting everything lined up is a job and a half. I'm just trying to line this outside up there like that. On the back of here there's 4, you can see on this part, there's 4 tiny holes that line up with these tiny pins on these parts, and because these parts are separate to this, and you've got 4 of them, and then you're basically gluing one of those to one of those to one of those with the gun in between. It's just it's not very easy, so I won't be doing it on camera because you won't see what I'm doing, because it'll just be like all my hands. But I've got this one together, and it takes a lot of pulling and pushing about. So I think what I have to do is build these up, let them go hard, and then sand out this joint on the front, because obviously that goes in a mount and swivels on the side, so you'll see this joint. So I want to make sure that's nice and smooth. So I'll catch you later on when I've done this and the glue's gone off and I've smoothed them off. So see you in a minute. Right, so those guns are done now. Believe me, they are quite fiddly. There's the location pins that go onto these little square pieces at the bottom are absolutely tiny, and of course you've got basically 4 legs in here. Just point them out for you. You've got the 4 legs in here. If you remember, if you go back to the beginning of this segment, I fitted those to these side walls. Then you've got these side walls have to fit onto this piece at the front, and then you've got the pivots inside the gun fitted to the gun, which have to go into the sides to allow the gun to pivot up and down. And there's no real location for any of it, so you know, there's tiny little tabs on the front of these here where the glue joins are. These go onto tiny little pins. It's not very easy at all. So and what's even worse is it's like you don't mind doing all this if you know, if it's like an interior kit and you want to get the interior detail in, then great. But if it's a kit, you know, that's not, I mean, you've got all this lovely detail in here, but no one's ever going to see it, so it's all pretty pointless. So yeah, I've done those 4 there, and I'm going to let those go hard, and then I need to work on this seam here because that's going to be visible. I've also done, if you can see this assembly here, again, this all goes together, and there's hardly any location for any of it. This piece at the bottom is just put it on where you think it's going to go. Guess. The doors, they kind of go on the hinges and then meet in the middle, but here it is here. You know, why it needs to be made of so many different parts, I don't know. And you can see there's just no location for any of it. So you know, there's no way of, the only way you're going to get hold of that square is by eyeing it up. There's no sort of location for it or anything. So yeah, bit of a disappointment really right at the end of this build, because yes, there's been some fit issues, and yes, getting those wheels in was a nightmare, but you know, this is this whole external gun thing, it's, I don't know, maybe I'm just tired. I am tired. I've had a pretty crap day of work, but yeah, so I've done one side, so I'm going to let that go off. I need to let these go right off hard before I rub them down. Oh, and the other thing I've done, I fitted these rails to the main side sponsons. These are the rails that the trenching beam goes across, or the untrenching beam, whatever it's called. So so yeah, we'll call that a wrap there, and then I can get this uploaded tonight. So this has been part 8. I'll do some more filming tomorrow for part 9. I may actually let that part go into the tracks, which will probably be what is it now, Monday today. So I'll probably go into Wednesday, so you probably won't get another film up now until Thursday, so you'll miss out on Wednesday, because you know, putting this together and put it on the sides, I don't know if that's enough to make up a whole video. Actually, yes it is. Yeah, so I'll probably do this tomorrow, and you'll see that on Wednesday morning. So thanks for watching, thanks for your patience. I'm sorry this has been a bit of a crap edition, but it's also been a pretty crap part of the build, to be honest. I would say to anybody that wants to get one of these, to build a Mark IV, probably go for the Tamiya. It's certainly, I don't know, it's a better engineered kit. I think it's probably more expensive though, isn't it? It's quite pricey. I don't know what the old MHAR kits are like. But then you also got the Takom male versions. I think I might do a Tadpole. I'd like to do a Tadpole next. They're the same thing but longer, in case you don't know. So yeah, thanks for looking. If this is the first time you've seen this Mark IV build, then please go back to my other videos. As I say, this is part 8, so there's 7 parts before it, and there's going to be about another probably 5, 6, 7 parts after it. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and I'll speak to you all guys tomorrow. All right, bye for now.